Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18 Hours special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. On the show today, on our Insights segment, we feature Franchise India, which provides franchise support to entrepreneurs. On Bright Sparks, we feature Woodstay, that is making inroads in the accommodation space, and Banana Slice, a company making savories that hopes to be a slice above the rest. So that's what we have in store for you tonight. Let's start off right away with our Insight conversation. Are you an MSME looking to expand? Well, probably Asia and definitely India's largest franchise and retail conglomerate is a firm believer that this is the best model for MSMEs hungry for growth, but possibly without financial support. Gaurav, let me kick this interview off by asking you what advice you would have for retail companies about using the franchise model to effectively expand.
Yeah, so my advice to every retail company which is now looking to expand within markets in India or even outside, franchising can be extremely strategic because in current times when retail margins are very tight, I don't think the retailers should go for more debt or equity for their expansion. So franchising can be a great form of capital which they can get to expand their brand across markets.
So speaking of the franchising model, how relevant is this in your opinion for MSMEs?
Very, very relevant, especially in India. See, if you really see what the SME or MSME suffers especially in the retail and service businesses, they have multiple challenges. One, the challenge of capital, which I explained. Second is attrition at the unit. So they need to have somebody who's a local partner who works for the last mile fulfillment of the business and so on and so forth. So franchising brings in another entrepreneur in the system who would work on that geographical location and actually contribute to build that marketplace. Because these businesses are extremely micro and they need a lot of efficiencies at the point of sales. So franchising really helps that.
Let me take a step back, in fact, and ask you to run us through, what work that Franchise India does. Just for the sake of our viewers, can you tell us, the work that you do with entrepreneurs, for example?
So Franchise India actually helps two sides. One, obviously, the service and retail businesses which want to expand within the markets. We help them in terms of making sustainable franchise models and then take them to the market. So that's one part of a business. But the greater part of the ecosystem we address is these entrepreneurs, people who are looking to start something for themselves. And I feel that this is a huge community in India, and especially now because we're getting these educated people who coming out and they want to start something in their own city. Look at a city like a Bathinda. Somebody wants to make ₹1,00,000. What options he has? So he has to start something for himself. So franchising is a great connect where you bring in this entrepreneurial value, but also bring in the essence of the brand and the know-how it comes with it. So it gives a great amount of pride for somebody sitting in Bathinda to partner with an established brand, get a know-how, and then run his own business. So I think that's what really triggers micro entrepreneurship in this country, which Franchise India has actually helped building the entire ecosystem. I mean, globally, franchising contributes about $3+ trillion. India is just about $35 billion. I think there is a long way to go, but it's already become the second most promising market in the world.
Okay, so that said, run us through what, in your opinion, is the top one or two benefits really MSMEs and SMEs can really see from converting into a franchise model.
So I think both for the benefits of franchising, as I said, is for people who want to get into franchise or build their own franchise network is obviously capital. They get a locked human resource and they get a faster expansion. But somebody who wants to buy a franchise or convert his own existing business into a franchise will get a great brand name, get know-how, get stability of the business, and most important, economies of scale. Tomorrow, if I was an independent jeweler, I would not be able to buy competitive pricing. If I'm a part of a chain, I get a better economies of scale of buying. So it's that phenomena. So I think in current times where everything is getting aggregated, if you are an independent operator, you will not be able to survive. And if you join a platform, you become a part of a franchise network, you get that benefit of a combined buying structure, which gives you the benefit of pricing, better economics, and so on and so forth.
Let's flip the question around and then ask you what some of the biggest challenges are that you would advise your clients to be aware of.
So I think one of the challenges which I would advise the franchisors is that you should not just rush into making franchises without having your own business model sustainable. You need to have enough margins available in the business model which you can share. That's one. Second, you need to be very definite that what is your value proposition which you're going to take in the market and how it should differentiate with others. But when I advise a franchisee, I advise 3 basic steps. I said information, evaluation, and negotiation. So if you're buying into a franchise, first do enough information about what kind of opportunities available. Second is evaluate what is right for you. And third is negotiate a right franchise.
Okay, I want to talk about GST at this point. Even while the government is trying to push that through Parliament, what kind of a game changer, in your opinion, is it going to be as far as this industry is concerned? And how, in your opinion, should the viewers of the show, should MSMEs and SMEs really sort of prepare themselves for GST?
I think it will not only for MSME. MSME is a huge jump, but for cross economy, I think this is a gold card we all have. This would smoothen the trading, and I think a lot of companies, a lot of small businesses, everybody should start preparing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in 3 months from now or 6 months from now. I don't know what our timeline is, but I genuinely feel that it's going to be a huge boost for the trade and also for MSME businesses.
Some of the feedback and some of the commentary that we hear from a lot of the MSME and SME retail companies is the fact that once GST does come in, the benefits of that trickling down to the MSME and the SME space is going to be a very long-term bet, a long-term play. Would you agree with that view?
No, I don't think so. I think the benefits would start coming very early because it's going to be saving a lot of double taxation and structures like that. But you're right. I mean, by the time it is completely implemented, by the time it starts benefiting everybody in a country as large as India, things can take a little bit of time. But I think just by the sentiment of this happens and with the benefits it kind of bring into our structures, I think it's a very welcome thing. Even if it takes the full blown to be effective over next 2 years, you will see an immediate benefit start happening as soon as it's implemented.
All along, we've been talking about the franchise model, and when one talks franchise, we typically think of the brick and mortar stores. What about online companies, Gaurav? How do they really participate in this kind of model that you're talking about, and what could be some of the benefits that we're seeing there?
Very good question you asked, and I think the world was divided earlier, and it looked like that only brick and mortar would go into these partnerships. But I can tell you right now, if they want to, this all online businesses or aggregators, if they want to do the last mile fulfillment, they need to depend on this micro entrepreneurship. That only way they can bring in the last mile efficiencies. Otherwise, their cost and inflation would hit them, and they would become inefficient models to sustain in the marketplace. Today, I think the model would be click and mortar, which means that the aggregation of the leads or data or virtual inventory would go online, and the last mile fulfillment would be done by the micro entrepreneurs. A lot of companies have already started, so they are creating these integrated models where you would do aggregation, which is online, which will help you standardize customer acquisition and so on and so forth. But the last mile fulfillment is done by this micro entrepreneur. I mean, you look at Uber and Ola. This is also a micro entrepreneur model where everything else is done. You do an app, and you are picked by an independent entrepreneur who drives that car. So that model to me is a fabulous idea. It gives a great amount of employment and entrepreneurship across India. But also it's much more sustainable.
So how does a company like yourself really help MSMEs and SMEs when it comes to financing?
So we certainly try our best to get them financed, but as I said, there are very little options available outside some NBFCs who do risk financing or project financing. Most of the times the entrepreneurs would need to do what we call their personal loans or LAP, what is a loan against property, which I don't think makes sense for businesses. Businesses needs to be financed on their credentials, right? And globally, it is a very, very big part. I mean, if I want to buy a McDonald's in US, I will bring in my 10% of equity and 90% I'll get finance. But in India, most of the established businesses also, I will not get any. So there has to be work done. But at Franchise India, we are trying to work with a lot of these peer-to-peer financing companies, independent financiers, and so on and so forth. But then the cost of capital goes up. But I am sure someday I think one of the institutions would raise up the bar and try to focus on what we call franchise financing, which is a very big business globally.
A quick last word then as we're ending this conversation. Give us a sense of what the next 5 to 10 years are looking like for you at Franchise India.
So for Franchise India, we are very excited. I think a lot of things are happening. We see a huge change in the way consumer behaves, and I think franchising also is changing very fast. The way we eat, the way we get our haircut done, where we send our kids to school, the kind of education systems we're going to come in. So a lot of those changes are coming in. We're very excited about the entrepreneurial spirit of this country, and that's what keeps us going. The last 18 years, we've been helping entrepreneurs across India. And I think next 20 years, we see that being growing at the same pace, or if not more. And we're also excited about welcoming a lot of international brands to India. That's what we do. And also, what is one of the most important focus areas for us is that how can we build in India, which I liked about Narendra Modi's vision of Make in India. I think we need to also make in India brands which can go to the world.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we bring you up to speed with what's hot with Wood Stay and Banana Slice. Just stay tuned. Welcome back to Leaders of Tomorrow on Bright Sparks Tonight. We're featuring Wood Stay and Banana Slice. Our first story on Bright Sparks Tonight. The accommodation business is the new industry generating heat in the startup space, and among the players that have set out to distinguish themselves in this space, Wood Stay has scored an edge. The company has carved a niche for itself by pioneering accommodation services not only in hotels but also in hostels, PGs and retirement homes. Within 1 year, Wood Stay has registered impressive revenue and taken international players like Airbnb head-on in India. Punita Verma has the story.
The last few years have been consistently good for the budget hotel segment. But one such e-commerce player looked beyond the obvious and targeted a segment that was fairly untapped: PGs, hostels and retirement homes. After launching the portal in 2015, Prafulla Mathur has scored an enviable growth rate within a span of 1 year. Well, you have quite a successful career behind you. You have been associated with Lehman Brothers in London, and you also had your own venture in app development. What made you make a transition from a successful venture in app development to the accommodation business?
I have been traveling across India, various cities, Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai. And across all these cities, I have been booking budget accommodations in the range of 3,000 rupees to 4,500 rupees. Now, I compared that experience to my stay there in London earlier. And one tends to compare the two propositions wherein at the same price levels, the quality of accommodation in India is not that high as that available outside India. So that was a big need gap that I could see.
Well, you have been able to achieve a very high growth rate within 1 year of formation of Wood Stay. What kind of business model has enabled you to achieve such heights?
So this started for us in the hotel segment. In the last 1.5 years, what we have kind of gained a very good knowledge base, very good expertise is how you standardize properties. We started with standardizing hotels, right? And we stuck to the core proposition that we'll deliver very good quality to our customers, and that gave us very good insights. If you understand standardization, you can do that to the whole proposition. You can standardize hotels, hostels, or homestays as well. So that's how it worked out for us.
What kind of strategic alliances have you struck so far?
Microsoft, did a partnership with us for their Windows platform, wherein we have our mobile applications not only on Android and iPhone, but we have a mobile application on Windows platform as well. And Microsoft does a lot of branding activities for that. So wherever they brand Nokia Lumias, which is on Windows platform, they say that Wood Stay is the strategic partner when it comes to travel with Microsoft. Another partnership that we had done was with Spice Retail, who help us with a lot of offline outreach to our customers. So that drives a lot of transactions on our platform.
Woodstay was launched with the seed capital funding from Simile Ventures. The budget aggregator then raised $3 million in Series A funding from Mangrove Capital Partners and Vikas Saxena, the man behind messaging app Nimbus. Within a short span of time, the company has got on board a network of 25 retirement homes and over 200 PGs across Delhi NCR and Mumbai. Well, amid intense competition, the players in accommodation business talk about better deals and pocket-friendly deals, whereas you focus a lot on experiential stays. What is it about the experiential stays of Woodstay?
In experiential stays, when you say, we have hostels, a lot of hostels in Kota as well, around 150 of them. We ensure that the students living and studying in our hostels don't have a bigger stress level. So we do a lot of activities there which help them in busting that stress level. Secondly, we talk about alternate accommodations as well, shikaras and houseboats in Kerala and Srinagar. We maintain the quality there so that the guests going to these houseboats and shikaras get a good accommodation, and we kind of help these small-time entrepreneurs who own these houseboats to maintain their profitability too.
Well, you say that quality is the biggest USP of Woodstay. What kind of quality control mechanism do you have in place?
See, it is done at two levels. One is when the hotel or the hostel is being contracted, and the next step is when some property has been contracted and you want to maintain it on a daily basis. So when it is being contracted, we have a checklist, a guideline which they have to adhere to 100%. Once they adhere to all these guidelines, we take a property on board. Once this is done, then it is passed on to our operations team, who maintain it at two levels. One is technology and the other is feet on street teams, which is a team that we have who go to these hotels and hostels on a very regular basis, keep on checking on the guidelines that we have and ensure that the promise that was made on day 1 is adhered to on day 100 and day 500 as well.
High quality standards is what this e-commerce player swears by, and this is perhaps one of the reasons why Woodstay has chosen to keep itself out of the discounting game. With more than 500 hotels in its kitty and strategic alliances with global players like Microsoft, Woodstay is all set to leverage its expertise and make it big in the long stay segment.
Available on just about every street corner, bananas are the country's 7th largest crop, and savory banana chips perhaps the most sought after delicacy. But what does it take to become a leading manufacturer, retailer and exporter of banana chips, and how does one size up the opportunity which is available for this individual snacking item? Pooja Jain was on the ground in Coimbatore. She took a deeper dive into the story behind Banana Slice. Take a look.
Bananas are grown in every continent and in 26 of our country's 29 states. But very few companies can claim to have built an entire enterprise around a single fruit. I'm in Coimbatore and met with the management of Banana Slice, a company that is growing and going bananas. Well, let's talk more about consumer preferences, right? And there are several. How do you prioritize them? Whether it's packaging that they care most about, whether it's aroma, freshness, shelf life, calorie consumption?
All the three things are applicable. First thing is the freshness. Since the banana chips are made within 48 hours of harvest, it gives the natural aroma. Second thing is the oil. Oil selection plays a vital role. It gives you the necessary flavor. Banana chips goes well with coconut oil. The combination works out well. So third thing is the packaging. We were the first to introduce very novel packages in this industry. The first to facelift the shops. Since then, banana chips were considered as a roadside product. So we changed that into a, we never use any on the spot cooking. We make it from the factory and we display it in a fantastic way so that people are attracted to that.
Consumer tastes in a country like ours vary so much. So how do you tackle the challenge of really appealing to the individual customer palates? How do you localize the taste for different markets?
Localize, it is a known taste, it is a household taste of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Slowly people of Andhra and Karnataka, they have accepted this taste. But when going to the north, we have to change the oil because they don't prefer coconut oil. But slowly they are accepting, they are moving towards the taste because the combination of banana and coconut oil, it works well.
Now, about the customer mix, as I was mentioning, right? If you had to give us some facts and figures around your revenues, your plans going forward, projections, how would you encapsulate that?
Yes, madam. All these days we were concentrating only on the local sales, and slowly we are moving out. This is because we were a little bit conservative. Now, as a plan of going towards pan India and globalize, we have put up a big factory in Arasur area, that is 20 kilometers from the city, and we have increased our daily production by 5 times. Now our plant capacity will be 3 tons per day of banana chips for a single shift. Apart from regular banana chips, we are the first to introduce flavored banana chips. Even before Pepsi or Lay's introduced flavored potato chips, we were the first to use masala chips, and then pudina, lemon chili, all these flavors were introduced by us.
What sort of response have you received from the market?
They branded these flavored chips as a corruption of the original taste, but slowly they have accepted that.
A family business founded 40 years ago, Banana Slice has leveraged state-of-the-art equipment and extensive market research to help establish itself as a leading provider of economically priced banana chips of superior quality. With a production capacity that exceeds 2 tons per day and an annual turnover of over 2 crores, the company is well poised for international expansion. Beyond appealing to customer tastes, let's talk about expansions from a commercial perspective. Whether that means partnering with retail outlets, adopting a franchise model, entering farming contracts. How are you looking at the future?
As an immediate expansion, we are looking into Chennai and Bangalore. We are concentrating. We would like to open some 20 to 25 shops, franchisees in those cities, and slowly we are moving towards the north. And we are going to appoint some distributors for pan India and export ideas also there.
It's a very crowded landscape, clearly. In your own words, if you had to describe your brand in a single sentence, how would you do so? 3
words I would like to say: quality, perfection, and dedication. Quality in selection of the raw materials, perfection in processing the banana chips, and dedication towards the business.
Brand strategists, what we would like to do for Banana Slice is we're getting the whole brand an uplift, a face uplift, in terms of branding it globally as well as pan-India. So we're looking at 3 different markets. One is a pan-India concept of having a franchising module and having a store set up in most of the locations all across India. So we're rebranding Banana Slice as Bana Asli. So it's made real, the fun of real chips.
Amongst the landscape of chips available in the market, Banana Chips has firmly established its footing, and Banana Slice is enjoying the fruits of its labor. With delicacies like banana halwa, banana figs, and banana baby powder all in the pipeline, the company is just getting started.
With that is a wrap on this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow. We'd love to hear from you. Do write in to us at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. Reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT or call us on the number on your screen. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.